What can I do to accommodate my autistic employee? Update. I want to thank everyone for your kind and empathetic advices. I received some very helpful feedback that I will try to integrate. To the people who told me that I made a mistake hiring them, I would like to politely disagree with you. Besides their struggles, they do an amazing job. I do need to find a way to work with them, but I don't regret hiring them. I keep reading your comments. Thank you again. I would like to preface this post by stating that I know virtually nothing about autism, but that I want to be able to provide a workplace where everyone can work safely no matter their differences. I am the manager of a team and recently hired a new employee who told me they were autistic. I've soon noticed that they seem to struggle more than the other members of the team. Here are a few of their traits. Please keep in mind that I do not know if these traits can be associated with autism, but they told me that it was the case. They get very defensive, angry or cry when we give them advice or constructive criticism. They have a hard time following rules and protocols. They do not interact socially with anyone else in the team. They come, do their tasks, eat alone at their desk, and leave at the end of the day. They have self-esteem issues that make them constantly worry that they will get in trouble or lose their job if they don't perform a certain way, work fast enough or work well enough. The whole team including myself feel like we are walking on eggshells with them, because they are always moody, defensive, refuse to interact with us, and complain about the job constantly. So far, I tried to help them feel safer by sparing them some tasks that could overwhelm them, putting their desk in the corner of the room so no one can look at what they're doing on their computer. They were overwhelmed when their screen was facing the hallway, and reminding them that they are a good employee and that we don't plan on letting them go. I would like to push them positively, however. Now, I don't mind if they would rather not interact with the rest of us, even though it is a little bit sad for us. But I would like for them to be able to hear advice and criticism. I would like for them to work a little bit more with us rather than against us. Most importantly, I would like to create a safe space for them to feel relaxed and not moody, upset or stressed. I really appreciate them. I think they are a good element and I want them to be part of my team. It's just that their behavior is sometimes a little bit delicate to deal with. I tried to talk to them about their behavior, in a very gentle way, asking them what I could do to help them reduce their anxiety. They replied that, "I'm just autistic. I can't help it. Does anyone have any advice or wisdom to share on how I can help them feel more at ease with us? Or should I simply accept that they function differently than us and give them a pass? Thank you. It's good that you are being empathetic but also hold them accountable like any other employee. Them crying, and getting defensive over valid criticism would not work for me. I'm all for offering fair opportunities to people with disabilities. But at some point as a manager you have to realize when someone is toxic to the business. Because toxic people will cause your other employees to get frustrated and quit. And you find yourself losing people who aren't the problem while the problem remains. If there are small things that you can change to make the environment more friendly, then by all means do it. But you nor your other employees signed up to be medical providers. But good luck and I applaud you for being so caring. Dude, you made a bad hiring choice. Keep that in mind as you bend over backwards for one employee whom is a bad fit. I'm just autistic. I can't help it. This sounds to me like someone who just wants to do what they want to do. I realize there are all different levels on the spectrum, but most can tell you what helps and what doesn't. Just seems a little off to me. I'd love to have someone who really understands, observe and tell you if it's autism or just antisocial. After reading the great comments, I will add 2 suggestions from my experience. First, it might help to offer the option of zooming in for meetings from his desk. If he can choose to attend in person or from the comfort and routine of his workspace, he might be able to interact more appropriately with the team. Second, when approaching suggestions, criticism, set the tone by addressing work as evolving. The phrase I would use is, as we go along and find better ways. Some things will change and I will let you know what is new. Some things will stay the same and some things will evolve. This is something you need to communicate with the employee about. The thing about autism is that it's not only a spectrum, it's also a condition with complex symptoms and expression. Even people who are at or near the same point on the spectrum in terms of severity may have radically different symptoms and completely different methods of mitigating them, or 2 people with the same symptoms might prefer totally different methods of dealing with them. Bottom line, everyone is different. Ask your employee about what sort of accommodations they need to function. Autism or not, these sound like a lot of unproductive emotional habits that probably cause this employee as much trouble as they cause you. I can't speak to how much of this warrants a free pass, but my gut reaction is that being autistic and not being able to help it doesn't really lend itself to having an eagerness to collaborate. Maybe seek a counselor who is schooled in the spectrum who can offer a few hours of team building and conflict resolution advising. It would most likely be immensely helpful for you to have an impartial and knowledgeable third party to ascertain and help you address which habits of your employees warrant grace and accommodation, and which are just poor collaborative habits. Bring in HR and ask your new employee to bring their treatment plan with them so that you can all meet and discuss how new employee can best be supported. HR will have the training to make sure new employee doesn't create a toxic work environment for everyone around them. My 26M wife, 29F, wants a divorce. She wants independence and said she can't be monogamous. My wife and I have 3 children together. They are all young. My wife and I have been married a few years and I thought things were going pretty well here recently. My wife a few days ago told me that she loves me and thinks I'm a wonderful husband and father, however, she said she has an addiction to sex and lusts after other people. She clarified and stated she is drawn to the newness and mystery and excitement of having a new sexual partner. She said she wants that and then when the feeling wears off, to find someone else new. Before we got married a few years ago, we discussed this issue. I let her know I loved her a lot and wanted to get married. She said marriage was something she didn't want because it meant commitment and monogamy to another person. I didn't press the issue further and on her own, a few months later, she proposed to me and said she thought about it a lot and wanted to marry me. We now have 3 kids, a nice house, cars, jobs, and I was helping support her through additional education. She told me that she has been thinking about other people a lot and wanting them sexually. She asked if we could sell the house and separate and allow her time to collect her thoughts and decide if she wants the life of a married woman or an independent woman. She has offered 50-50 on everything and said she is the bad guy in the situation and would understand if I hated her. I've reiterated that I love her and I'm loyal to her and I just want to make this marriage work. I've gone as far as to offer her a chance at getting a girlfriend. As my wife is bisexual and has dated girls in the past. She said I haven't done anything wrong but she doesn't want to keep lying to herself about her core happiness. She loves our family and me but she must have other people. She agreed to go to marriage counseling, however, she already posted the house for sale and is debating on getting a small house rental or living with a friend couple who have an open marriage. I don't think she does anything with the couple but I believe their lifestyle encouraged her to make this decision. Is there any hope at salvaging this situation? What should my next steps be? She offered me everything I want out of the house, half the money from selling the house and half custody. Nope, it's over man, you should get out of this situation while it's still peaceful. Trust me, if you keep delaying she might start hating you and thinking that you're doing this to stop her happiness. It sucks and sounds awful but at this point it looks like she's made up your mind. I am sorry man, take what you can, consult a lawyer before you agree to anything. She put the house up for sale. She's not bluffing. She was honest, she wants a different life. It's not a phase, she thought she could do monogamy but she can't. I'm really sorry and she may come to regret it but I think she's going to do it. Don't let her sell anything. Tell her if she wants a separation then she can go but the kids stay with you. Do you want her to start sleeping around and bring random people around you kids? If she has a sex addiction, remember any addiction people will choose that over their family. I would tell her you can separate and tell her get it out of your system but kids are staying with you cause addicts of all types are dangerous for the kids. This is about your children now. She wants to sleep around then tell her to go. Make sure she knows that her actions have consequences and it will be her addiction and losing her family. Maybe call your parents to help. I am sorry, man, your marriage is over. Oh bro, you must be in a fucking world of pain right now. I guess the small mercy is that she's upfront about it all. But she's a disaster. A fucking nightmare who selfishly chooses her own physical fantasies over the well-being of her family. She sucks as a person. She said marriage was something she didn't want because it meant commitment and monogamy to another person. When someone shows you who they are, it's a bit weird that someone who's scared of commitment pops out a few kids, but there you go. Now that you know she's not the one for you, focus on finding a partner who is. To be honest, it's done. Break away, and personally I'd keep any further discussions once you've split about the kids only. What a piece of shit. I mean no disrespect but honestly she sounds childish. She's really ready to give up on a great marriage and her family cause she wants to hoe around. She needs to put herself and her want before her family. My boyfriend uses explicit content from his past. The other night I, 25 female, randomly asked my boyfriend, 28 male, if he had any explicit photos, videos of himself with other women on his phone. I honestly don't know why I asked, and kind of regret it now, but anyways. He was honest and said yes. He also admitting to watching them and using them to masturbate throughout our relationship. We've been together for over a year and lived together. While I don't have any issue with watching porn in general and knew that he watched it, it was upsetting and uncomfortable to learn that he had personal videos of himself with women from his past and still uses them. The next morning I was still feeling upset about it and we had a discussion. I told him I was feeling insecure and felt like I wasn't enough. He said that wasn't it at all and tried to be reassuring, but then also said it wasn't like he was cheating and a lot of other guys have collections like this. I asked him if everything was consensual and he had permission to still be using these photos, videos, and he said yes. I asked him if he missed being single or that time period of his life and he said no. I asked him to delete them because it still made me uncomfortable and he did. To be fair, he was honest with me about the existence of these videos, took action to make me feel somewhat better by deleting them, and I have never really outlined this as a boundary in the past, but that's because I guess I assumed I didn't need to. I personally have deleted anything explicit from my past and I would never use photos of my ex's hookups to get off while in a committed relationship with someone. Even though he deleted them, I'm still feeling hurt and conflicted. I know I have insecurities and this might be more about my issues than him doing something wrong. It just seems really disrespectful to me. While the rest of our relationship has been amazing and solid, I feel like maybe our values and beliefs are just too different on this subject and I'm struggling to move past it. I know it comes down to what I'm comfortable with, but I want to hear outside perspective and experience with this. Thoughts? Too long did not read. My boyfriend admitted to using past nudes, sex tapes to masturbate throughout our relationship. Feeling sad. And I can absolutely assure you that not all men have these collections, just assholes. I can almost guarantee his exes are not aware he's currently whacking off to 1+-year-old content. It was disrespectful. Sorry you had to deal with that, and then get told it's a normal thing guys have. Bottom line here is everything you're feeling is valid, and if it makes you uncomfortable and you feel like you just can't get over it, then that's okay, but if you decide you want to try and work past it, that's okay too. I would say go with your instincts, they seem to be spot on. Ouch, he's not even my boyfriend and I'm hurt for you, girl. What he did was beyond disrespectful. And on top of that, if I had an ex jacking off to our old content, I'd be creeped the hell out. Hey boyfriend, waving hand, light skin tone. It's not healthy to be watching porn in a committed relationship, let alone with someone you've been intimate with. When will men evolve? I thought you were me there for a second. My soon-to-be ex has a phone full of his exes, prostitutes, etc. All the pics he's ever been sent, all the ones he's ever taken. I have a super high sex drive, no issues with porn, it's not like he couldn't be with me at any time. He instead chooses to masturbate to exes instead of sleep with me because he says sometimes it's just quicker and easier. Well, he's about to be able to go back to his exes or switch up between his left and his right hand. I'm ready to leave and go somewhere I'm respected, be it single or a man who appreciates having sex on tap. LMAO. Makes you wonder if he's still attracted to them. But we are animals after all, it's not uncommon to love or even just feel attracted to more than one person at a time. But admitting to wanking it. Something I probably wouldn't have done. If his interest is solely you, sometimes certain pieces of information out like that is necessary in my opinion. I'd be a little weirded out too if I found that out. That's very disrespectful to you. Especially since those were other girls he's had a connection to. Unfair to you. That's just messed up on many levels, especially since you have been together for a while now. This isn't a boundary you have to outline. It's common sense. That's really gross. I can assure you the women from his past are not okay with that. I find it hard to believe that he has permission to keep those photos. I'm worried for your emotionally and mentally well-being around this guy up. I've dealt with this stuff too. Seems like they never fully delete anything, just get better at hiding it. I'd personally book it, or be petty and say you have a similar collection of Wong pics hidden as well. How do I date while living in an Indian household? This one is directed more at the South Asian conservative parents community. So I dated this guy for around 5 years. We were high school sweethearts, and sometime in college, we broke up. It was half-hearted on both ends and after a FWB fling. We both realized we want to be with each other. We don't want to tie the knot at the moment, just date. Ensure this is meant to be for the long run. But then the pandemic hit. We couldn't meet, and amidst this, my parents found out. Needless to say, they weren't too happy. At that moment, we had broken up and I said that to my parents. Now that things have changed, I want to just have a normal relationship. Go on dates, have sleepovers, be a normal couple before making life-changing decisions. I live under my parents' roof ATM. My job is WFH, so impractical to get a place on my own. My boyfriend wants to give it a shot again, as do I, but that means telling my parents, hey, let me go hang out along with a guy I used to date. If you're Indian, South Asian, you know how that is basically asking for a death sentence. Edit. I forgot to include, I don't want to sneak around anymore. I am an adult look of triumph, and anyways they know about it. Sneaking around will only get you so far. Y'all seen that meme where it says, I can't go out today because I went out yesterday. That's my life. It's just not sustainable. I want to be able to just have a normal relationship. BC eventually, when I do say that I want to get married, won't the question arise, how have you been in touch? So it would just be easier in the long run to lay all my cards out. On the flip side, if God forbid it doesn't work out, they won't be dandy with me dating another guy. It's kinda shameful to just be socializing with guys romantically, according to them. I'm big into the law of attraction and am hoping that some magical situation arises, I move out, get a place of my own, and can have a normal life with some fucking independence and a relationship. But I wanted to ask you guys what would be some of your views. Sorry if any part of this was confusing, I'll try to clear it up. Honestly, any advice or anecdote helps. I just feel so lost and confused. RN. Thanks. When my parents were strict, I lied to them to get out. If I was seeing a guy, I said a girlfriend's name that they knew so they'd be okay with it. It sucks and sometimes you have to be really careful, but you do what you gotta do to be happy. Okay, another Indian person here. I completely get your point and I know this is bad, but why can't you just lie sort of and say, oh, I have to meet a coworker? Are they picky with your friends? Like, do they try to see who's around? 'Cause if not, then just say you're with your friend from college or something and don't say it's a male. So I'm kind of in the same situation. Strict Muslim Somali parents, so I get it. I just moved out, but then again I am a guy. My mother did cry and try to guilt me saying I don't love her, dad super angry saying I'm defying God. But eventually it normalized and they got used to it. The tactic is to grey rock and lie. Don't tell them you are going out with a guy, say your girlfriends. And lie and try not to talk about what you do outside the house. It's all about normalizing, not sharing details. Indian here. So let's start with making your parents believe you're single and highly workaholic. This will result in them believing you are on right path. If that doesn't work well, we have the ultimate weapon, which is moving out. So start searching for jobs which are offline and help you move out to better places. I mean it when I say Indian parents bend once they say find both of you well settled and independent. Since you said you are just gonna date, use the coworker meetup strategy or just get a better job and move out. Helicopter parents are the worst. I had to get sneaky. You have to find your way out, behind your parents' back, or risk losing your boyfriend. Why don't you try to convince them to give your boyfriend a chance, get to know him, and then pass judgment? I know how overbearing strict parents can be. I hope you make it to the last, together. Good luck, dear. I told my parents I'd consider moving out if they wouldn't give me more freedom. It helped a bit. I still don't tell them everything about who I hang out with, so there's a bit of sneaking around. But I've accepted that I can't tell them everything. I want my own peace of mind. My parents are South Asian, so I completely understand where you're coming from. Hello, and thank you for your submission. Please take a moment to review the rules listed in our sidebar. For further guidance, please see our wiki. This is a bot message. I cannot respond to any comments. Please modmail us with any questions. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit. Message, compose, to =r, relationship_advice, if you have any questions or concerns.